Hey everyone, welcome back to Apollo Art Analysis. In today's episode, we're going to be studying a piece by the AI Generative artist known as Memory Mod. And in this episode, we're going to be looking at this immense detail. We're also going to explore influences of cyberpunk fantasy. So let's jump right into it. So whenever you first see this work, we're met with an incredibly detailed display here. Of course, your first impression is likely one of shock or awe due to the rather rugged and resounding nature of the work at hand here. And so whenever I first saw this work, the first thing I noticed, of course, is texture and color. In the realm of color, we see this kind of blue-green composition, of course, contrasted by a brilliant red. Of course, green and red are going to be complementary colors, so they're going to contrast each other and kind of fight for the viewer's attention. But of course, both of these combine and give a sense of vibrance to the work at hand. Another thing you may notice, of course, is the impact of texture, and we see this quite clearly. You see this kind of machinescape, if you will, this incredibly rugged and rough texture all throughout the composition here. That sense of the industrial is just second to none. Of course, all of which really give us a sense of immersion within the incredibly detailed display before us here. Another thing you may notice is how texture and vibrance combine to give a sense of visual energy, and we see this quite clearly, right? You see, of course, like I said, the industrial, it's incredibly detailed, but also you have that vibrance of that blue-green, so both of which are going to combine and kind of excite and invigorate the visual experience for the viewer. And so another thing you may notice is the kind of use of framing and spatial placement here, and we see this quite clearly. Of course, we see this kind of rugged machinescape, if you will, like I said, the industrial sense, and that gives a sense of framing to the work at hand. And with this in mind, it kind of focuses our view within this almost a natural scene, but of course it is a vast cityscape. There's no doubt about that. And within this work, I would be remiss if I didn't mention this kind of oculus. This gives a sense of weight to the left side of the composition and certainly draws the eye towards that area as well. And so the setting of this work is rather hard to pin down at first. Of course, we're in a cyberpunk megacity, there's no doubt about that. But within this, far beyond, we see mountains of some sort or another, almost reminiscent of Mount Fuji in a way, but it's hard to say for sure. We see this, they almost seem littered with trash, although it's hard to say for sure. There is an industrial sense, an industrial nature of this work. There is no doubt about that. And so welcome to the cyberpunk megacity, right? It is a vast cityscape. It just stretches far beyond the imagination, and it just dwarfs the viewer instantly, right? And within this, we see these, various subjects, kind of vague forms. They appear to be kind of working or living within the work here. It's quite interesting. They almost feel reminiscent of kind of machine elves of the DMT landscape. It's quite interesting, and it's kind of hard to say for sure, right? Like I said, they have these kind of vague forms that are not completely defined. They're kind of ill-defined there. With this in mind, what do y'all see when you view this work? What do you think we're looking at? I think that's a really important question when we study this work. And so with this in mind, regardless of the symbolism, regardless of what exactly is going on here, there's no doubt that there is no escaping the kind of relentless expansion and the relentless growth of the human spirit. I think there is no doubt about that. And so the work before us here is an AI generative artwork, so it was created using Night Cafe. It was one of the lower tier programs. Like the artist said, this is a very early work of theirs. And so if y'all want to get into the AI generative art world, I would say Night Cafe would be a good one to kind of experiment with. There is no doubt about that. So yeah, I really hope y'all enjoyed today. We talked about so many different things, the impact of texture, this kind of cyberpunk fantasy lands here, and of course the influence of sci-fi. There's no doubt about that within this work. We see a vast cityscape, rugged with industrial, rugged with trash, rugged with, say, the vague forms of these subjects here. It's hard to say exactly what is going on here, but there's no doubt this work certainly caught my eye, and I just knew I had to study it. So yeah, I really hope y'all enjoyed today. If y'all enjoyed today's episode, go check out the original artist Memory Mod, doing some really good stuff in the world of AI generative art. Really hope y'all enjoyed today, and if y'all did, go check out the original artist. My name is Apollo. This was Apollo Art Analysis, and I'll see y'all on the next episode. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like to support our work directly, please check out our Apollo community tokens. Apollo Art Exchange is an ecosystem of art appreciation which elevates artists each and every day. Thanks for listening.